Hi, this video I will talk about this topic, what is Dan level. This video is not only for Go hobbyists, but also for people who don't know Go at all. When you hear that, some people said that they have Dan level in Go. What does that mean? How strong is that mean? This is a common topic in the East Asia. Actually, the concept of Dan varies in every Go communities. So here I would like to share my opinion to this topic. This video would like to focus on the amateur Dan. We have also professional Dan. There are maybe thousands of professional players in the Go communities. They are focused in China, Korea, and Japan. In Japan, there would be two organizations that would offer the professional qualification, which included the Nihon Ki-in and the Kansai Ki-in. Nihon Ki-in centered in the Tokyo and the Kansai Ki-in centered in the Osaka. The North American Go Federation, also the European Go Federation, also recognize some Go professional players. Indeed, the population of Go players in North America or the Europe is not that high comparing to the East Asia. But they still want to recognize some professional players in order to increase the competitiveness. So actually, professional players is like applying a job, especially in Japan and Korea. When you applied this job, became a professional player and serving the organization like the Nihon Ki-in, then your whole life will be working as a Go professional. Not only you need to participate in the tournaments, there are also various of work in the Go Federation, like playing the teaching games, promoting Go in schools, or record a Go game. So this would be the job of the professional players. By applying this job, you need to pass through the qualification tournament. Every year, only a few players could become a new professional. And also, you need some requirements in order to participate the qualification tournament. For example, there will be some age limit, or you need to have some ratings by participating in the amateur tournaments. Also, in China, it's very common that after you gain a professional qualification, you would use this as an advantage to teach Go. As after all, although there are nearly 1,000 of professional players, only maybe 1/3 of them could solely rely to the awards in the tournament. Otherwise, they may not make a living. In the certificate from Nihon Ki-in, indeed, they would not clearly written that you are a professional Dan or you are a amateur Dan, because only a very few Go players will be a professional players. Most of the Go players are amateur. So usually we won't mess up with these two terms. But in English, sometimes we would use D to represent the amateur Dan, but use P to represent the professional Dan, because P stands for professional. And for amateur Dan, 7 Dan would be the limit. Although the Japan have issued some 8 Dan, there will be only a few 8 Dan. And for the professional Dan, the limit would be the 9 Dan. We have finished talking about the professional Dan. Let's back to the amateur Dan. Concept of Q and Dan is common in Japan and Korea. Not only Go use this system, the Taekwondo and the Karate, which are the martial arts in Japan and in the Korea, also used the Dan and Q system. You can see the belt color represents a Q level, and when you achieve the black belt, you are 1 Dan. No matter in Karate or in Taekwondo, when you are a black belt, you are a Dan player. In Go, usually the beginning would be the 30Q or the 18Q. Sometimes there will be 50 kills, because it's not important. It just depends the organization would like to use which level to be the beginning. But usually, we would say that 9 kill would finish all the basics and become an intermediate player. From 30 kills, you ranking up and up. Then when you rank up, the kill level would become a smaller number, and when you become a 9 kill, you will become an intermediate level. And after 1 kill, you will become a 1 dan. That's how the kill and dan system works. But in East Asia, it's commonly argued one thing. Is dan level equals to advanced players? Because I think we generally have an idea that a dan level should equal to a strong player. For example, in the karate or in the taekwondo, black belt should be a strong player. But how about in Go world? We find that it's a bit controversial. The reason is that, looking at this data, there are 51 to 60% of players are dan level. This is a report that generated by the World Go Federation. I'm not sure how they collected the data, but let's see some data. In China, there are 51 to 60% of players are dan players. And in Japan, there are also 51 to 60% of players are dan level. But in Korea, there are only 11 to 20% are dan players. And I'm from Hong Kong. Hong Kong are somewhere between 31 to 40% are dan players. It depends how you define advanced players, but it's not that advanced if half of them could be dan players. Why? Compared to Korea, the ratio of dan players is much higher in China and Japan. Of course, it may due to the data because we don't know how accurate the data is. Maybe the data is not very accurate at all. But generally, my friend and I believe that the standard of Korea dan is higher. And in Hong Kong, it depends the organization. Some of the organizations have a higher standard of dan. Some organizations have lower standard. The problem is that there are no unified standard of dan level. You know, in East Asia, is a place where we love to get qualification. For example, passing a music exam in the ABRSM. But for many academics and music instruments activities, there would be a big organization. For example, IELTS would determine your level of English standard. And this standard is unified all over the world. The legitimacy of IELTS is very high. But Go is not the same, because we are not getting a dan certificate by finishing an exam. We get the certificate by winning the tournament. The participants of the tournament are totally different all over the world, because Chinese would not suddenly get into the Korea to get a Korea dan. You can do as an entertainment, but only a few would go to another country in order to get a dan level. Most of the players would get the dan certificate in their own city. And even in the same city, there would be different organizations that will have totally different tournament participants. And as a result, we could not prevent the standard of dan level is not unified and would vary a lot. And also the legitimacy of dan levels would vary. In Hong Kong, usually people would not ask, what is your dan level or what is your Q level? We would ask, what is your dan level in force? This is what we usually ask, because the standard in the force would be unified. Let's get back to the concept of amateur dan. This data is from Yike, a Chinese application that is very famous in China. You can see half of the players belongs to the dan level, and that suits the data from the World Go Federation. And most of the players belongs to the group from 1 Q to 3 dan. However, I'm suspecting this data because in Yike, you could choose your own level until 3 Dan. As a result, these data showed that half of the players believe they belong to Dan level. And I like to use the data of Goldcrest. In the data of Goldcrest, the 13x13 bot, 70,000 ratings equals to 1 Dan, which would be the top 20% of the Gold players. And now we have some data. In China or Japan, 50% of the players would belong to the Dan level. And in the Goldcrest or the Korea, around top 20% of the players would belong to the Dan level. And if we look at this data, this is the ABRSM piano exam. If we use the data of top 20%, 1 Dan could comparing to the grade 5 of ABRSM piano level by calculating 20% of the total numbers. Then the top 20% would be the grade 5. If we consider the top 50%, then it would only be grade 2 in the ABRSM examination. If you don't play music and don't know what the ABRSM grading represents, then let's take a look to the following music. So these are the music of the grade 2, grade 5 and grade 8. when I learned Go in Hong Kong, my Go teacher told me that getting to Dan level is nearly getting grade 8 in music. By data, his statement is not supported. By comparing the ratio, getting to grade 8 may be much more difficult. In Europe or in the North America, it will be even more hard to become a Dan level because according to the data I could get, the 3 Dan in Japan would be nearly equals to the China 2 Dan, which would be the Force 1 Dan or Taijam 1 Dan or the Gold Quest 1 Dan. This level only equals to EGF 4Q or the AGA 3Q. So I think it would be much more difficult to get a 1 Dan in EGF or AGA. I think the Force Taijam or Gold Quest would be the best reference when we talk about how strong would be the Dan level. And I think the top 20% of players could achieve the Dan level. So back to the question, should we consider Dan levels advanced players? This totally depends how you look into it. But I think no matter you are in China or Japan, saying that you are a Dan level would mean that you are at least better than half of the Go hobbyists. And I think most of the people would agree that it's not easy and needs a lot of effort to achieve a Dan level. Only a few geniuses could reach a Dan level in a year. Most of the hobbyists need at least 3 years to 5 years, and if you do not put many times and effort, you may not get into Dan. If you also wanted to get into the Dan level as soon as possible, Takumi Go would like to help you very much. In my channel there are many tutorial videos, but I admit that many of the videos are too difficult to understand. So I'm inviting you to join the Patreon service, then we could tailor-make you some videos and also we could provide you a very detailed Go game review and also provide you teaching games with detailed review. This would be the benefits to join the Patreon. If you want traditional format of Go lesson, please also consider us. Damon Wu is a very strong player that got various achievements in the international Go tournaments. His proficiency in English will be guaranteed. So thank you for supporting us, and that's all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.